Okay, we're about 4 minutes away from the International Space Station passing overhead, attempting to listen to a ARISS contact with a elementary school in Georgia. Got video is up on the Geocron showing the actual live position of the space station. And should be some audio coming through on that from time to time. Looks like we're passing over Wyoming, Colorado area right now. It's going to be passing just south of Birmingham, it looks like, as far as overhead. The school is in Lawrenceville, Georgia. And I am attempting to monitor on 9700, which is connected to the SAT controller. This little black box right here. But for some reason, it's showing this pass to come up in another hour, and I haven't been able to find out where my issue is with the time setting. So, unfortunately, not going to have a automatic tracking. There's my Valentine from my sweetie. So we may or may not hear it on the 9700. I don't have the antenna set to automatic, so I'll have to manually move the antenna as it passes overhead. But we'll continue to listen. There's somewhat on, I think that's the space station attempting to call the school. I have to try to track the Doppler manually.
We are ready for the event.
Okay.
Naval Trst Pilot School, this is Mission Control Houston. Please call station for a voice check.
Station, this is Lindsay Willingham and Corinne Milligan with the U.S. Naval Trst Pilot School. How do you hear us?
We got you loud, a little bit garbled, but welcome to the International Space Station.
Yes, you do feel
Thank
different when you come back to Earth, and it lasts for a day or two,
What
and
impact
then you are
does
back
attending
to
the
normal.
U.S.
Over.
Naval Trst Pilot School have on your life?
Okay, Lindsay, I'll start with this one. So,
I have done 2 spacewalks, and going outside your spacecraft is amazing, particularly the views through your helmet visor. Over. I like to look out the window and take pictures during my off-duty time. Over. The most surprising
We're not hearing the uplink, we're only hearing the downlink, unfortunately.
flying, being able to fly around the room like Peter Pan. Over. Training to be an astronaut is like getting another college degree, but instead of being in college for 4 years, you get the college degree in 2 years. Over. We produce water with a fractional distillation column or a still. It makes distilled water. Over.
Evidently there's a UHF
The best
uplink.
part about ham radio communication is talking with students like you. Over. It's wonderful not to hear traffic, horns honking and things. I do miss the birds.
Here's
I
the,
like to hear birds calling. Over.
we're passing right over Birmingham, Alabama, as we're listening to them now.
Physical health requires some rehabilitation, and it typically we work with an exercise specialist for about 40 days after we return. Over.
You can see on the spectrum scope how they're drifting because of the Doppler. And I would normally not have to do the manual correction.
One of the coolest things I've seen is
Keeping it centered there on the center of
an
the
orbital perspective.
FM signal.
Over.
Doppler changing pretty quickly as he passes overhead.
We conduct science experiments in space that do not require gravity, like fluids floating around or medical experiments. Over. We make our oxygen on the International Space Station through a process called electrolysis of water. Over. One of my favorite souvenirs to bring back from space is my spoon that I use to eat my food. Over. We celebrate holidays and birthdays just like you do on Earth, and we take biscuits and put peanut butter on them and call it our birthday cake. Over. We use GMT or Greenwich Mean Time as our time standard on station, and we start the day at 7 a.m. and we finish the day at 7.
Okay, we're about to experience loss of signal.
Or
Maybe
the
not.
orientation of space station as it
Trying to
flies
manually move the
around
antenna
Earth. Over.
and adjust for the Doppler. Currently, they are almost over Cuba. We headed across the island of Cuba in the Caribbean and down to Venezuela and into Brazil on this pass. So we'll lose them shortly. I don't have the footprint showing on this video, but normally the footprint is fairly small since they're not that far up in space.
So I think one of the biggest things that I've taken away, of course, with the fleet also being part of the team.
This is
but with the
another
test team, you're
ARISS
working
contact I'm
with a
making
small
with the
group of
flight
people
school, I think in
who are really
Pensacola.
understanding every aspect of that test and how much you
This video is coming from a
trust
feed
and
on the
dedicate
internet
your
to the
time,
Geocron.
their time and your life to doing the test events that you're doing. So I think those small teams are certainly the most important part of the test environment to me.
Yeah, I've got many thoughts on that. So today we do a lot of modeling. a lot of analysis to assess what our systems, how they're doing, and how they will perform. And I can tell you from experience that our models and those analysis based, those computer-based systems and whatnot, are only as good as the data that you feed them. And the best data is by far is test data. So if you've got solid test data to feed into those models, that's when the models are trustworthy. Otherwise, then it's just smoke and mirrors.
That's great. So in the next week or so, the current class will be hosting their You'll Be Sorry party. Do you have any favorite memories or experiences from your time there?
Oh, of course. I'm not sure that those are ones that we should be talking about, but just know they'll be sorry.
Yes, they will be sorry, but they will be so happy when it's over. Sorry all the way through, because it is a lot of work. It's a lot of long, night. I would say long nights. Sometimes I didn't go to bed at night because it was so much required study, preparation, writing test plans, writing the procedures that we're going to go through, writing up after everything's done, the analysis of what you did, and but so very rewarding, so rewarding.
Well, I think that concludes most of our questions. Is there anything you'd like to add that we didn't ask?
Hey, just wanted to say, we are super proud to be testers. We talk about it every now and then, and sometimes people are like testers, but we are. It is a true skill. It's a true way of looking at life, and I think everything about life after you go to test pilot school is sort of a test in a funny way. I look at my car that way. I look at whenever I get in an airplane that way, and it's one of those things that's just ingrained in you, and it's a really special skill, and just so proud that we could be part of Navy Test Pilot School with the people like JJ. Like Lee Canoe, who were there when Butch and I were going through, these legacies of instructors have taught us to just think like that. I think Lee used to say, I'd ask him a question and he'd say like...
Okay, sounds like they're about to wrap up at the test pilot school. I think this in Pensacola. So the pass is now about to go over Venezuela, and we've lost a signal on our little station here, running the ICOM 9700 with the M squared, what they call SAT pack, the dual Yagis, VHF, UHF Yagis. Quick tour of the station here. Of course, the Geocron, mostly ICOM gear. There's the R8600, the my prize baby, the 7610, the 9700. I've got a 7300 over to the side, and then this little peep squeak is going into the mobile here soon. And here's some old vintage gear. The Drakes from my teenage days. The Drake TR4 that I had in 1968 as a new general class 14-year-old ham. And a couple of Drake 2B receivers, one of which belonged to one of my Elmers back in the 60s. And the latest construction project here is another CubeSat simulator that's finally operational. During all the cold weather, that's what been working on, another CubeSat simulator. All right, that wraps it up from WB4NCT. Hope anyone that watches this enjoyed the pass, the ARISS pass of the International Space Station, 73s.